welcome you in to another episode of the Small Ball Podcast. My name is Christian Dennis, and alongside me is Trevor Mickulin and our producer, Matt G. What is up, boys? How are you guys doing today?
Dude, chilling. Super good.
Chilling. Today's April 2nd. April 3rd.
Wow.
Whoa, nice
Got
catch.
you guys there for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk ball.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
And
just hop right in.
honestly, the thing that is, has been sweeping the nation for the past month is March Madness.
Right.
And so as a basketball podcast, it is fair to talk a little bit about what's going on. We haven't covered much about the tournament, but we want to start here with the women's college basketball. It's been a fun tournament. We just watched the championship against Iowa and LSU, in which LSU did win the tournament this year. But Trevor, I know you had some takes and just some things you wanted to talk about. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think that this tournament was one of the most exciting for the women's tournament, and like people, at least I found myself really caring and enjoying watching that side of the bracket. And yeah, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, like what a matchup that was to watch them go head to head. And let me read off. I mean, people are talking about Caitlin Clark, but like, let's hear some of these stats that she put up in this tournament. These are her points in each of the games: 26, 22, 31, 41, 41, and then 30 in the loss to LSU. And that's all on high efficiency. She's putting up big numbers, and I can't remember a time, maybe Kelsey Plum was the last player. And I'm not a genius or some like whiz with women's basketball, but I was so invested and I really cared about it. Yeah, so it was fun to watch, and LSU played awesome. What do they call Angel Reese?
Bayou Barbie.
The Bayou Barbie. She balled, and then just to see them chirping back and forth. People are getting mad about it, but I love it. It's exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like anytime that you have a matchup or you have players that makes you want to watch games, like that's always good.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be exciting for kind of the growth of the WNBA in the future is when these players enter the league. There's going to be hype around them, and there's going to be, people wanting to tune in. I mean, Caitlin Clark is essentially the woman's version of Steph Curry. Like, she is just, and she might even be a little bit more efficient. Like,
chill.
She was shooting like 50% from the 3-point line in the championship game. Which is just nuts to think about.
Yeah.
Someone who's chucking up 12 3-pointers and she has 6 made 3-pointers. Like that's just crazy.
Insane. Yeah, and even the Bayou Barbie, Angel Reese, her stats this season, 23 and 15. That's insane.
Yeah, she actually broke the record for most like doubles in a season.
Yeah,
which is just awesome to see.
So cool. And I don't know what her stock would be in the draft. But there are some names coming into the WNBA, and we have seen in the past couple years. I mentioned Kelsey Plum, Sabrina, and then obviously like we have one of the GOATs right here.
Yeah, Diana,
Princess
you
Diana.
had that from the beginning, yeah.
Yeah,
Dirty Diana.
yeah. And there's just there's been some big players and big names, and yeah, it's cool to see the WNBA get these people.
Definitely. And tonight, UConn is facing off against San Diego State, which for me, I feel like UConn is going to take this. So by the time you guys are listening to this, I'm going to assume UConn won this game just because they just seem like the more talented team.
Yeah.
Whereas San Diego State has been bruisers, that's for sure. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts and opinions on that or...
I saw this graphic that said San Diego State starting 5 average age is 23 years old. That's their average age for their starting 5. Compared to NBA teams, there's like 3 or 4 NBA teams that have a younger average starting 5.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's insane.
The fact that, that's kind of a good segue into what we want to talk about a little bit is let's go into like the tanking teams in the NBA.
Okay.
I mean, the Pistons are one of the younger teams. In fact, I believe they are the youngest team in the NBA, and they're currently on a 9-game losing streak. Which is just insane.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just as hard as a 5-game win streak.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to be that good at losing. And Detroit is so good at it. I mean, trade for guys like Bagley, and that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's fair.
And give away Sadiq Bey for a bag of chips. Well, I guess they got James Wiseman in that deal.
Yeah.
But, they're really bad. And it's not really close as far as who's the worst team in the NBA. I mean, you have Houston at number 2 as far as tankathon goes. Houston's at 2, and they've had, I think, out of all the teams in the tankathon kind of race, I like what Houston's been doing, where they're giving their young guys a lot of play and giving them the time to develop while also accomplishing the task of losing a lot.
Yeah. With Houston, you can kind of see the formulation of like a nucleus that they're trying to put together. You know, they have a guy like Alperen Sengun, who is a very skilled big man. And then they're pairing him with, an athletic, explosive guard and Jalen Green. And then they pick up a guy like Jabari Smith and Tari Eason, who are good defenders and 3-point shooters. So, I mean, there's something forming in Houston, whereas Detroit seems to be, putting together a roster where they're like these guys that have bigger names like Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman, who are more raw, and they're trying to pair them with, a guy like Cade Cunningham. Jaden Ivey has shown good signs and good flashes, but he's a rookie that is still a little bit out of control, it seems like, and it's going to take him a little bit for the game to slow down, for him to really start being a good NBA player.
Yeah, with Detroit too, I mean, we can't forget that they have Cade Cunningham in their back pocket. And he's been out all season, and we can't really talk about like knock on him because he's a baller, he's a stud. But yeah, it is a little questionable what they're building. I think that what they're doing is simply grabbing as many talent assets as they can, and they'll figure it out later. So a play like trading for Bagley, it's like low risk, high reward. And James Wiseman, I mean, you're giving up Sadiq, but low risk, and the Wiseman ad is possibly a high reward. So I think that's the move that they're going. They're just trying to grab talent assets and figure it out later, which, hey, they could end up with Victor, and it could all be turned around with a healthy Cade.
Yeah, Victor Cade combo would be kind of wild to see. Yeah. And then on top of it, he would probably play alongside James Wiseman. And also too, they have Jalen Duren, which I totally forgot about, who's just an awesome young big. They just have, it's like they have so many young bigs, and then they have started to collect young guards as well. And so, the two guys that are supposed to be number 1 and number 2 are a big guy and a guard.
Yeah. So
it's just going to be interesting to see like how they put that team together.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good way to kind of take it, like let's just get the best basketball players we could possibly get and then figure it out. Like, especially when it comes to the draft, like you don't want to just like pick for fit. No,
I'm a big draft talent over fit for sure. You pick the best player available. So I agree.
Yeah.
Houston also in an article. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. In the article, Houston is they're kind of getting tired of being towards the bottom. So, I like we mentioned, we're kind of seeing a formulation of a team, and on Bleacher Report, they're even linked to a guy like Jaylen Brown. So Jaylen Brown from the Celtics has recently kind of come out, and he's shown that he's not super interested in kind of sticking around Boston. He does have one more year on his contract, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Celtics handle this. Like, is this offseason, this summer, a potential summer where, Jaylen Brown's like, I'm out, trade me if you guys want to get something for it, or try to run it back and, see what we can do. So it'd be interesting to see if Jaylen Brown could be a piece that the Houston Rockets can add, because I think that accelerates their rebuild for sure.
Yeah, the Jaylen Brown idea of even trading him, the question to me would be, what would Boston want in return for a player like Jaylen Brown, who's coming off of a career year where he's averaging 27 points per game? What would it take to get that guy off their team? I don't think that they'd be interested in the assets that Houston can offer. I think maybe Houston would be able to offer a bunch of draft picks and maybe a young player. Like maybe they would throw one of their 3 young core players. I don't think they would. And so what you have there is I just don't think that's a good match for Jaylen Brown. I think that there are other teams that could put together a better package for Jaylen Brown.
I would agree. Like for the Celtics, since they are a championship contending team, it's hard for them to trade their second best player for like future draft picks.
Even if it's like, we'll give you Jaylen Brown. It's like, well, do they want Jaylen Brown? Do they want to have to develop?
Jalen Green?
Jalen Green, yes. Yes. If they were like, we'll give you Jalen Green for Jaylen Brown and we'll throw you some draft picks too. It's like, does that really keep them in the contending phase of a franchise, because you have Jason Tatum and you don't want to waste his prime years.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just Houston doesn't make any sense to me when it comes to being trade partners for, a player like Jaylen Brown. The only way that I can see Houston acquiring somewhat of a star player is if it's a team that maybe is on the lower end of a conference. So for example, let's say Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls became available. See, that's a player that I could see could be somewhat attainable for the Rockets, because if the Bulls are going to trade Zach LaVine, then I would imagine they're going to be moving DeMar. And so they're probably headed more towards a tank mode, to where the Bulls would be like, give us some draft capital and a young player. But
you want to get freaky?
Yeah, let's get really freaky.
What about like a Damian Lillard player? If Portland wanted to go, if Portland wanted to go full tank, and if Houston wanted to go full like contending mode, which I don't think would be the move for that team. But if that's what they wanted to do, you may have a good a match made in heaven there, because Houston would be able to offer the world for Dame, especially if Portland wanted to enter into tank mode. So that'd be a crazy one.
Dude, that would just be, I think I would literally cry for Damian Lillard. Like, he's like, super loyal to Portland. Like, I want to win here. And then he gets traded to the Houston Rockets, who are even worse.
Yeah. Your running mate now is Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah, that's...
Nothing against the young fella.
Hey,
but,
no, you're great, man. It's just, it's not your time yet.
Not your time. But, that would be more of a player or a situation, a match as far as teams that could possibly make sense. But Houston and Boston does not make sense for a Jaylen Brown trade, in my opinion.
No, not at all. Not at all. One thing I want to talk about is kind of just alluding back to the good old days of small ball, kind of something that put us on the map, you could say.
Sure.
We are on the map. We're probably equivalent to like a Tahiti. We're not definitely a powerhouse, like a USA sort of thing. We're on the map for sure. And that is our Island Boy video. A lot of people have seen this video. The Kings won. Yeah. That video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So way back when we came out with this video, Trevor kind of set it up, and he kind of, allowed us to kind of get us there, sort of thing. But a while back, we had someone reach out to us, and Trevor, just kind of Tell us what happened.
Yeah. So we made this video, the island video, and it was on an app called Cameo. You pay people to say stuff, basically. This guy, Peter, Sacramento Kings fan, reached out to us after watching the video that we posted. And in the video, I said it cost like $350, something like that. He was like, yo, if the Sacramento, this was like in November or maybe even December.
The Sacramento Kings haven't even won a game yet before we came out with this.
No. And so he reaches out and he's like, yo, if the Kings make the playoffs, I am going to Venmo you. And then he said like $175. This is a random human, a random man offered to Venmo $175 if the Kings make the playoffs. When I read this back in December, I think to myself, this guy's funny. I like this guy. Yeah. Peter, thank you, man. Cool, whatever. Then fast forward to last week when the Kings beat the Blazers in
Portland,
thank you. I get a DM on the small ball page from none other than Peter that goes, hey, man, what's your Venmo? I'm a man of my word. I'm here to Venmo you $179, whatever it was. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
You know, there's something that I saw on Twitter once that, you know, you can tell a man is loyal by the team that he is a fan of.
Yeah.
So if he is a fan of a team that is terrible, you know that he's loyal and that you can trust him. And Sacramento Kings fans, if you're a man and you are a Sacramento Kings fan, or if you're a woman and you're a Sacramento Kings fan, you are a loyal human being. So ladies, if you're listening, Peter is loyal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he would love you very, very well. But he sent in a video.
So I said, he reached out, hey, I'll give you this amount. Give me your Venmo. I said, heck no, I'm not taking a Venmo from you, dog. I appreciate the love, much love. What I want is I want you to send us a video of your reaction, your take, your excitement for Sacramento after making the playoffs. Here it is.
The Kings won, yeah. Thanks again, guys, for that hilarious video. But, you know, super happy that the Kings are back in the playoffs. You know, I feel like already we kind of overachieved with the third spot, but hey, man, I would like to project and assume that they can make it to the Western Conference Finals, but at the same time, like, if they get out of the first round, it's enough for me already, because, like I said, we can only get up from here. Thanks, y'all. Like, really appreciate that.
Yup, Peter. Thank you, bro.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, I I like what he said. I feel like I have fallen in that dilemma too, where it's like, okay, our team's really good. We're the third seed. We like statistically, like, oh my gosh, we have the best offense of all time.
Right.
I'm thinking, yo, we could be good in the playoffs, man. We could make it to the Western Conference Finals, just like he said. But then, like, the flip side of it is like, I want to catch myself and pump the brakes because, one, the lack of experience, and two, how volatile the Western Conference is with teams like the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be really hard to get through. So just like he said, I want to fall into that point of I'm okay if we make it to the second round. And that would be a incredible, even if we get swept in the first round, it's an incredibly successful season for Sacramento. So if we can make it to the second round, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, as a Kings fans, all we hoped for was to make playoffs. And so the fact that we are the third seed.
And home court advantage,
Yeah, and having home court advantage, that is a tremendous success. But Mike Brown says he's not here to coach regular season games. He's here to coach playoffs and championship games. There is, in a weird world, in a weird circumstance, to where the Kings are a really good team in the playoffs, and we make the Western Conference Finals. The West is very weird this year. So really, I feel like you can't rule that out of the picture. Am I saying that I personally think that we will make it to the Western Conference Final? No, I'm not. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's just how the cards fell. In my opinion, I would really love to get out of the first round. Just because I think that's going to show really good signs of who the Kings are as a team, and then, see where we can improve. And plus, it's just like the fact that we missed the playoffs for so long and we made it out of the first round, I think is just a huge. You know what? I would even say first round, please just go to Game 7. Just go to Game 7. I don't want to be swept. As long as we're not, I don't want a gentleman's sweep. I want to give a good fighting chance.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. Go Sacktown.
Yeah. So with that, we need to get the stank out of the room.
Yeah,
the stank out of our breath.
That is perfect. Wow. So we have been trying for months now to get a sponsor. We've said, Waterloo, can you answer our call? No. We've asked LaCroix, can you answer our call? No. We've asked plenty other sparkling beverages. Can you answer our call? No. But we are making a pivot. I learned that in business school. Pivots. Yep. Oh. Small ball's making a pivot. And you hear that? This has been a part of everyone's life. The famous little snacks. Tic Tac. Back. It's gone. That's how I feel every time I'm in the car with a Tic Tac. I just eat a whole box in a 10-minute ride. Tic Tacs sponsor our show.
I just put like 6 Tic Tacs in my mouth, and
it's orange already.
For the point of this show, I kind of regret it, but my taste buds are bouncing with joy. I am currently eating the orange Tic Tac, which, in my opinion, to me, that's like the staple of Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Like when I think of flavors of Tic Tac, like orange has always been what I think of.
Yeah.
And this is the closest thing we've gotten to a sponsor. Trevor, please explain how we got these Tic Tacs.
Please explain it.
Well, I just got a free box from some. We'll cut this out. I don't really want to talk about the kids on the show. I don't know. I just feel a little odd about it.
I'll explain it. We just got a box of Tic Tacs from a high schooler whose class project was to email companies.
Yeah.
So essentially what Trevor's been trying to do, he succeeded at. So shout out to him. But I just made sure to pound those Tic Tacs, chew them up so we can continue on this show.
Mm-hmm. That's sick.
And like I said, orange Tic Tac, that is the flavor that I think of. And when you think of orange, some people might think of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that is where Matt G thrives in. Matt G, please tell us some facts about Oklahoma City.
I got something to say. I didn't do any research. I've actually just been looking at flights. Flights to actually Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. So not Oklahoma City, but close.
We'll be making a trip over to Oklahoma City.
Okay.
So the dates I have kind of dialed in here is where to go, May 20th through the 23rd.
Ooh,
so
wow.
Maybe I'm thinking OKC on the 21st. Just stop by.
Yeah.
See how many people are doing.
Yeah.
Just go, they already know all the facts. I just want to make sure they know all the facts that I know about OKC.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to going and seeing all my friends in the Big Friendly. It's gonna be so sick.
Amazing.
Was this planned? Like you were thinking
I've been thinking about going. I have family who live out there.
Okay.
And so one of them hit me up. My cousin hit me up. He's like, "Yo, you got to come out and visit because it's pretty sick." I replied, I was like, "It's obviously very sick, right?" And so grandparents moved out there. Aunt and uncle did. Cousins. So it's like, guys, this is the Big Friendly now.
Yeah.
My family's there. That means my family is Oklahoma.
Yeah. You are Oklahoma.
I am Oklahoma.
Your blood runs deep in Oklahoma. So
yeah, and Love's my favorite shop. I love wearing cowboy boots. Hey, I'm already wearing hats. All I need to do is go like this a little bit. So
for someone who didn't have any facts about Oklahoma City for this episode, I feel like that was a good fact.
Thank you.
Because, it shows the listeners, all those people who are out there staring at the wall while they listen to our podcast,
right,
that we're true to our word. Like we've been saying this whole time, we're going to send Matt to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And, you being a part of the show means that if you pay for yourself to go to Oklahoma City, we paid for you to go to Oklahoma City because you're a part of this podcast.
It's very nice of you.
Yeah. So check in with us May 20th through the 23rd, just to check in to see if Matt went to Oklahoma City, because that's going to be huge for the pod.
Right.
That's going to be huge for the fandom. And I think that's just going to be a great sign of what small ball is all about.
Yeah, community.
Yeah, we're community-based.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
Sick.
so if you're listening to this, make sure to comment what Matt should do while he's in Oklahoma. I know we have a ravishing fandom out there.
Guys,
so.
I'll be in Bricktown. We'll be bricked. We'll be in Bricktown.
Matt's going to be bricked up in Oklahoma City, just enjoying the big friendly. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. Also, one shout out, like we kind of mentioned earlier at the show, UConn versus SDSU tonight. Being from San Diego, I'm really excited for the Aztecs to get in there. But shout out to my boy Brandon. This is just one for you. Just go Huskies. But now I don't believe that anymore. Go Aztecs.
Yeah.
Yep. That wiped my memory. I've been an Aztec my whole entire life. So.
Well, with that being said, that concludes our episode. Just a huge thanks for all of our listeners. Make sure to like and subscribe us on wherever you listen to us. But for Matt G behind the computer and soundboard, for Trevor Mikulin to the right, speaking his wisdom, for myself, and for Scott Ayers with the runs, I'm Christian Dennis. See you